Hi, I'm Mark, Fishbone poet with a guitar, and welcome to the Poets Reacts. And I see and my fellow poets are ready to react to a poem which we've never seen and know nothing about, and engage in a conversation of high elevated poetry, as you can see. Well, let me introduce my another of our poets, Marissa, who will introduce the rest.
This is high elevated poetry. We're bringing to you at the Poets Reacts, everyone, with my amazing cohorts. Oh my God, I gotta get my fan now. Lawan's got his fan. I am Marissa. I'm a poet, spoken word artist, and publisher in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Please make sure that you use the chat, ask questions, make comments. We love interacting with you. All right, Geisha, letters of the Lawan.
Okay, so if we're talking about high and elevated poetry, I'll do the high part. The other guys will take the elevated bits. Okay, but we are fans of poetry. So yeah, please do subscribe. Catch these antics and our opinions, however fractured they may be. Sometimes they're interesting. Do subscribe to the channel, subscribe and like the rest of our social stuff, because otherwise we'll be sad, and you don't want to see us sad. So yeah, Kemlyn.
Hi everyone, I'm Kemlyn, and I'm your Arizona Singapore connection. So I am a visual artist, hence my paintbrush, and a writer as well as a spoken word artist. So today I am so excited because I get to read the poem. So please send in the poem. I cut my hair in despair during my weekend manic panic. So I try and start anew to change my petty view. I bought this lie so as not to die from the pain I felt in vain. I couldn't share, and my heart couldn't bear the emptiness inside. Swollen eyes I could not hide. My future faded, my heart degraded. Quiet anger was my danger, so I shed my sadness with the silly madness of cutting my locks and putting up blocks, erasing love so tragic. My emotions were so static, this thrice repeated. I felt so depleted from departed years I never held near. The painful smiles, walking all these miles. My secret pain held me in chains, so I mustered the strength with no restraint to cut my hair with dying despair and keep me moving on from this never-ending song.
Well, there you go. No, I did not write it. Okay.
Yeah, right.
No, but we are familiar with this, right? It's the whole story about how when a woman cuts her hair, it's actually a symbol of a particularly huge moment for her, whether trauma or celebration. Well, you guys can enlighten us on that, but it's usually a huge thing when a woman touches her hair. So this is really a celebration of that, however dark, right?
Yeah, I mostly cut my hair off after breakups, and the longest I ever chopped off was 18 inches, and I donated it to Locks of Love, and I took a picture of the before and the after, because you have to braid it and then cut, right? And I kid you not, my hair was super short. Otherwise, I've never had like super short hair, but a poet friend of mine, she just shaved her whole head, and I was like, damn, that must be liberating. Yeah, usually haircuts occur after trauma or heartbreak for me.
This poem kind of reminded me of the Broadway show Hair. I don't know if any of you are familiar with it.
Yeah.
But the idea of, I mean, at one point, you know, the hair became such a big symbol of hippie revolt, right? And if you cut your hair, it was like, you know, a symbol of of tragically getting back into the into the conformity of it all. But I'm not sure that's what this poem is about. It's a little too modern for that. For me, with all of the internal rhymes that it's using, it's in a very kind of a modern way, I think, performance kind of a way. And so I think the poem, has a feel of being very current and all that. And I mean, I sense the seriousness of it as well, in terms of the metaphor of cutting your hair and how that.
I almost want to read it again, but this time to not read it in a spoken wordish way. You know what I mean? Sayaka, would you mind? Can we just do one read through if you don't mind? But I want to try reading it in a more conventional manner. I just want to see what that would sound like. You guys okay with that?
Like as if Alexa was reading it, or what?
Like it's smart.
More tame. Like
so if Mark was reading it, so you want it to be boring. Okay.
Not boring, just more tame. More traditional.
Okay, let's go. I cut my hair in despair during my weekend manic panic to try and start anew, to change my petty view. I bought this lie so as not to die from the pain I felt in vain. I couldn't share, and my heart couldn't bear the emptiness inside. Swollen eyes I could not hide. My future faded, my heart degraded. Quiet anger was my danger. So I shed my sadness with the silly madness of cutting my locks and putting up blocks, erasing love so tragic. My emotions were so static. This thrice repeated, I felt so depleted. From departed years I never held near. The painful smiles, walking all these miles, my secret pain held me in chains. So I mustered the strength with no restraint to cut my hair with dying despair and keep me moving on from this never-ending song. Okay, so for me, hearing that right now, a lot of cracks in it suddenly shows without all the energy and fury.
Do you think it could be a contrapuntal poem?
I don't know. No, but what I'm seeing is that a lot of the craft it's actually meh. It's not particularly fantastic. At least for me, okay. Word choice is given all that you can say about hair, about how it is a record, a story, a chronicle, how it is a path. There's so many things. If that's the gist of this, and if you take a look, I mean, there's the forced rhymes. So anyway, shot selection for me. The word choice is just.
I think it's a lyric to a song. I mean, the poem ends with from this never-ending song, not from this ever-ending poem. So I think it's actually a song, and I think it's a song just about how cutting your hair from just like Sinead O'Connor would do.
It was like an 80s hair band.
I think it should be part of the 18 inches that Marissa will cut off.
Yeah.
There's the line that she
too much for me to handle, Lowen.
All right.
Wow.
That's my self-portrait, guys.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Kemlin.
Oh, I love that, Kemlin.
That's my self-portrait because, when I was younger, I hate to be so personal, but when I was younger, this is my reaction to it. When I heard it, it sounded like my teen years when I was full of teenage angst and I had my breakups and whatever, and I wanted to burn all my paintings, cut all my hair off, and all in rhyme. Because in the 80s, you rhymed. It was not the end of bad end rhymes. It was the rhyming era of my life. And so it sounded like, my teenage angst, my hair cutting, and my romance broken up. That's it.
I want to know what's up with Lowen's fidget spinner. what is? Oh, that's the fan.
It's the fan.
Yes. Oh my God! I have a fan. I should go get it, but I will.
You
bring
have
it
a
next
lot of
time.
fans, Marissa.
Yes, you do, Marissa.
I have a lot of places that need fanning. Let's just leave it
So-
at that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it does have a little bit of that. My heart degraded, quiet anger was my danger, so I shed my sadness with the silly madness of cutting my locks and putting up blocks, erasing love so tragic.
Wouldn't it have been really funny if they were
Yeah.
talking about their dog? Like,
Well,
taking their dog to the groomer?
yeah, to me,
I would have totally wrote a poem like this about taking my dog to the groomer and then make it seem like it was something different. I'm
To me,
always
this- I
waiting
mean-
for something underneath the surface.
I like this as a lyric. It has a feeling of puppy love to me. I can't explain it, but
Yeah.
cutting off your hair.
It's a dog
Puppy love.
grooming poem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess for the audience, I'd like to just bring up the whole point how the voice you use to perform a piece can change the piece drastically.
Yeah.
All right, and
So
that's
are you saying that you should read all the poems from now on? Is that that's what I'm hearing?
no, not at all, not at all. I mean,
Wait,
Kemlyn,
we should just not have Mark read anymore? Is that what you're
no,
saying?
Kemlyn and I were talking about this recently. I mean, if you talk about poetry as a phenomenon, you can always break it down. You can break it down into two things. There is the words of the poem, and there's the voice of the poem, and you have to work on both to make it really come out. Yeah, I think that's
The
the
voice needs to
conversation.
come out, yes.
Yeah.
Your voice, actually, so it's piece specific, made it come out. Yeah.
So,
So,
Oh,
so
yeah.
my
And every one of our- And
So
each
my
one of our
dramatic
voices is
reading-
not going to read all the poems evenly. I mean, there are some poems which just work, better for your personality, obviously, to read. And all
and I
that.
do admit, I mean, I tend to be very dramatic in my readings because it's just
Love
the way I
that.
perform. Yeah, all right.
I
So
love that.
Yeah, I try to emphasize a lot of the sound of the words.
Can you
there's something to be
imagine
said about?
Kemlyn
I mean,
reading
there
Edgar Allan
there is poetry voice, right? And everybody can. There is, there's a debate about poetry voice because if it's not poetry voice, well, then it's just like we're talking to each other, and it's just regular voice. So
But
maybe
regular
there can be
voice is
poetry
good.
voice, right?
Can you
but
imagine
I don't know
Kemlyn
what's
reading
wrong-
Edgar
what's
Allan
wrong with-
Poe?
what's
Wouldn't that
wrong
be
with?
awesome?
I
There
don't know.
is,
I
there
think,
is a,
I think
there is a
regular
poetry voice that
sometimes
people
works.
don't like. There is. I mean, it's hard not to put on a poetry voice and have some people look at it and say, that's just phony poetry voice, But at the same time, there is a poetry voice that works. I mean, a lot of the great poets and a lot of you guys, when you read, you have a poetry voice, but it's an authentic poetry voice. I guess it comes down to that authenticism. How
It has
I guess
yeah.
the thing that smacks of phony, Mark, is when we call it a poetry voice rather than a poet's voice.
That's well taken.
Yeah, because a
He's
poetry
giving it
voice,
to him, Lowen.
a poetry voice is something I put on. Like I pull it out of the closet. This is my poetry voice.
No,
Right.
don't do that voice. No, don't do that voice.
No.
okay, so now we let's look at let's
So
look at the
who wrote
reveal.
this? What is this? Who wrote this
Okay.
piece?
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Can you? Oh, it's "Love Forgone" by Easy Putnam.
Easy Putnam.
I don't know it.
I don't know the poet
Yes,
either.
something Mark doesn't know. Yes. Celebration. Y'all hear that? Yeah.
From the
that's
studio,
proud.
there you go.
2021.
2021.
Yeah,
2021.
it's recent. Yeah.
Okay.
How old is this poet? I'm so curious. And what's the poet's background?
Yeah, I think it's 12. That's-
You did say younger, but we're not talking about that.
No,
Although I think we should bring some youth poets up on this platform.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, if I wrote about my breakup in high school, which I have done, and wanted to cut my hair and tear up the whole world, I would have done it in rhyme.
Yeah. Suck his blood and dance on his grave, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So there we
Burn
go.
him.
All right, so we're winding down the end of our show. Again, another incredible The Poets Reacts show. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us tonight. This has been an incredible time with my fellow poets of the pen, my fellow peers of the pen. We love you so much. Make sure, please, you like, share, subscribe, follow all of what we're doing. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere you can go. We're gonna be there. We got Poet Con. She's gonna be starting shows coming up right live on Instagram. You gotta get with Poet Con show. She's so amazing. And remember, as we react to poetry live with you here at the Poets Reacts, we hope you take action with your pen so that maybe someday we'll be reacting to your poem. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, what Marissa said.